Good evening and welcome to the Mancunian way. Hope we are all well and we have got a star-studded panel for you this evening. We have got our very own Ozzy. Good evening, mate.
Evening.
All right, enough of the rock stuff. Not rock, paper, scissors. Kent Nielsen's with us.
Good morning.
Who's Kent Nielsen?
Kent Nielsen is the scorer of a very famous goal against Inter Milan when the great Inter Milan side of Klinsmann, Bremer and Mateus played Aston Villa in the UEFA Cup in about 1993.
That before Klinsmann moved to Tottenham?
It was when he played for Inter Milan, yeah. When Inter Milan were the best side in Europe. Klinsmann, Bremer, Mateus, and Baresi, fantastic team. And I went as a mate. I went with a mate to Villa Park.
I don't know which part I'm more shocked at that. Whether you
I
went
think
to
it might be
Park or you went with a mate.
Yeah, I think it was probably a bit before we beat them 2-1. The famous victory where we were bottom and they were top, and we beat them 2-1. But it could have been that same season or the season after. So it's my omen about Inter.
Good evening, Veta. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. You're not lying about a star-studded panel with True City fan Ozzy, new Kent, and obviously Trouble Father. So yeah, I'm excited, man. Can't wait. This time's moving.
I think he's more
slow,
like Clark Kent with them glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, alter ego.
I'll try not to be a bit of a Kent whilst we're doing it anyway.
No, yeah, I think he's coming on in the next 5 or 10 minutes if he wakes up. Good evening, Patrick. How are you, mate?
I'm good. And unfortunately, I'm just going to be here for 10 minutes, but I still wanted to honor the place by having a cameo for 10 minutes and just saying a few things then.
Nope, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Listen, anytime is good time. Andy, if you want to jump in a bit or whenever, just let me know and I'll send you over a link. Right, so this is it. Premier League done. FA Cup done. Are we going to get some Turkish delight? Oh, I should have used that for a thumbnail. Ooh, that would have been good. Ooh. Hang on, I may change the watch along thumbnail yet. Carry on. Start with you, Ozzy. Sorry. Just thinking out loud.
Turkish delight or a load of Istanbul?
Yeah. Leave that one with me. Carry on. Patrick and Veta are nicking them now. They're like, yeah, we're having that. Nope's going down.
Oh, seriously, Martin, where do you get these from? Like, where does your mind go?
They just come out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I shouldn't be surprised, really. I know everyone else might be, but I shouldn't really be. Nor should Rich.
You want to answer the bloody question? He's the one who got 10, 15.
What was the question, Martin? Like, seriously? I didn't hear a question.
Your initial thoughts on Saturday, basically. Oh, God. What are you feeling? What are your initial thoughts?
So, my initial thoughts are it's starting to become real now. I mean, through most of the week, I've just been kind of chilled, relaxed, and trying to just enjoy the build-up. I've been trying to do as much research as I can, just because, you know, we haven't faced Inter in a long time. You know, we know some of the players, like Lukaku and a few of the others that have played in the Premier League, but, you know, we haven't faced this opposition in a long time. We haven't faced an Italian team really in quite a while, so it's new territory for City. It's going to be really interesting. We're expecting this team to kind of be difficult to play against. You know, they're going to, like most Italian teams, they're going to be very defensive. That is what we always think, but I actually think that could be a bit of a red herring. You know, I've been kind of doing some research the last couple of days. Like I said, Inter, I think, are quite a sleeping dog, and they could give us a bit of a surprise on Saturday. I don't think that. I'm not expecting them to kind of blitz us, but I am expecting them to give us a game. I think they've got a very good manager. He's a very good cup manager. And I just feel that, as much as Martin has been kind of, this is our year, we're going to win it, nothing's going to stop us, I'm a little bit more respectful of the team that's coming against us.
Hang on, it's not disrespect. Got confidence in the team.
No, but I do feel you've been very kind of like, no one can stop us, nothing's going to stop us from winning this Champions League, which is all well and good.
No,
Wrong,
he
we
was
have
just
some
singing,
confidence.
nothing's going to stop us now. And
I was going to say, do you know what? I had that song in my head when he said it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's Starship, here we go.
Where are you two at tonight? Seriously.
We're just showing our age.
Really are.
Mate is pretending he doesn't know what we're on about, but he does.
No, I think he's as clueless as I am.
I'm trying to figure out I think I know the song, but I don't know the artist.
Build this thing together, standing
Oh no, I
strong
wasn't thinking of that
forever.
song. Is that the song?
You can be really old and say it was by Jefferson Starship, not Starship.
No, that is right, Charlie. The other ones we were going to have were blurry, so we put the nearest one on. Blame Ozzy on that one.
Oh, thanks. You should go with a regular background. I just thought it'd be nice to have a bit more of a speciality. This is a big game. This is a big moment. So there you go, Charlie. I think you should thank me for that one, because otherwise it just would have been one of our regular backgrounds. And I think this deserves a bit more of an occasion, in my opinion.
Rich.
Yeah, it's Inter's the conundrum of the five at the back. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether Pep sticks with the Real Madrid, Arsenal, etc. side, which has done so well against teams that play very rigid four at the back, or whether we're going to see a bit of a change, because the five at the back, is he going to put in someone like Foden who gives us something a bit different? Because we're going to have quite a different problem than we have had in all the other games. Instead of being the wingers with the pace, it's going to be the fullbacks. They're both quite quick. Is it DiMarco and Dumfries? So they're going to really, really move to break fast. They've got a pretty solid three at the back defence, which hasn't actually been. It's been a bit City's kryptonite this season. With we struggled at home when Everton went three at the back. A couple of times with some of the bigger teams we've seen it. Brentford at the end of the season. I assume Brentford in the other game as well. Play that, but they've got those really fast wing backs. So I think man for man, we're a much better team, but we're going to have to just work out how to play a slightly different tactical setup. And it's going to be interesting to see how we stop the runs of Martinez and Barella, because I think that's where we've got, if they've got very talented players who we need to feel, it's probably Latoro and Barella. But, I think we are a big, strong, physical team who also happens to be the best passing team in Europe. So I expect a couple of tactical tweaks, maybe one player different. I think maybe one more offensive player in the front three. But I do think, we've got the quality, the strength, and even the experience, having been there before, to do it.
I'm just going to bring Patrick in because he's only got 10 minutes. I know you don't have long either, but now it's under. So I'm going to... Patrick, how do you feel, mate? Because obviously you did your show earlier. Go back and watch that great show, 2 hours. Massive panel. How are you feeling about it, Pat?
As I said, look, I have been positive since the the beating we gave Arsenal at the Emirates, I think ever since then, confidence just came to me, because during that time things were very difficult. There's a lot of things that we're going through. A lot of people, the fan base was divided. Remember, Martin, we were going on Twitter and we were trying to make peace in threads. People were arguing, things were just going
we were
bad,
second as well.
Yeah, and
we were second and everyone was having
there was literally no hope at that time. But after beating Arsenal, I just say, you know what? I even gave up. That I was like, you know what? Even if we go second or we don't win it, I just feel like this team has given us enough for us to respect them. That's why this whole Man City thing, this whole clickbait I'm seeing on Twitter, on YouTubers who are trying to make content saying, how can Inter stop Man City? How can Inter do this? Inter are going to disappoint Man City. There'll be an embarrassment. I am sitting there smiling, saying, not this Man City, not this particular one, because the confidence in this, the way these players are ready for this. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, the pressure you're putting on yourselves, or you guys are putting pressure on yourselves and your players, and there's so much pressure. But who cares? Pressure is good. It doesn't mean just because there's pressure, it's not a good thing. But I wanted to ask the panel, right, before I go, and this is one difficult question that I want to ask everybody on this panel. What if we don't win at Istanbul? What's next for Pep, and what's next for the club, and what's next for everybody as a fan?
We go again.
Oh, sorry, bit of breaking news. Kovacic has now agreed personal terms. Done. They just need to agree the fee now.
Yeah, I think
that broke in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think I saw a tweet also, like earlier on, 2 hours ago. I think of saying Kovacic just as a thing. So you think would simply go again, or do you think these players? How would these players feel, especially the players who are older in this squad?
Well, I'm going to keep quiet on this. Let him go around the panel.
Yeah, I think quite obviously, if we didn't win on Saturday, the players will be gutted. I think we'll see a couple of changes this summer, probably, regardless, and we'll go again. I think if that were to happen, we'll just be hungrier for next season. The same as when it didn't happen 2 years ago. We were hungrier for last year, and when Real Madrid happened last year, we were hungrier again for this year. I just don't see anything other than the players trying that bit harder, and Pep flexing things up that little bit more to get the winning formula.
I think Andy's already been to Turkey.
I'm already in Turkey.
Good use of their
Wait. Is that where you got your hair?
I get my teeth done on Sunday.
Oh man.
Vader, do you want to go with that on next one?
You know what? The future of the club, I haven't even taken a second to think about. Like, honestly, I've thought so much about this game, and time is moving still. I need it to be Saturday. But having done a lot of visualization and thinking about what happens, I've been thinking about like who I'm going to interact with and how I'm going to celebrate, and what I'm going to want to make sure I watch. So I'm not thinking about where these guys move on or whether they stay, but I'm all for this Saturday. And again, not arrogance, not overconfident, but having seen so much of our team this year, having seen so much of how they've fought, how they've been questioned and they've answered when been tested, I'm going into this game and I'm like, Pep, put out that 11, whether you make some tweaks or not. On our day, we're winning this, and I think everybody's up for it, the players and the fans. So I'm geeked out. I just need time to just pass forward. That's all I want right now.
By the way, just quick one. JSG say, thank you for joining, mate. I know you're on your honeymoon, and I appreciate you.
Hey.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
Yeah, he's took the plunge and got married. No,
Congrats,
honestly,
mate.
Jay, have a great time out there, and we'll have a chat when you get back. Take care, mate. Appreciate that.
I thought he was. Isn't he on a fishing boat in the Faroe Islands, trying to get to the Faroe Islands?
No, he's in Iceland.
To watch us on our pre-season tour of
What's
Eh?
food like? Cheap.
No, I said, what's the queues like in Iceland? It was terrible in Asda earlier.
Yeah.
Andy, what do you think of what Pat said? If we do lose,
I've not known such confidence in such a huge match, universal across City fans. That doesn't worry me. The only one thing what worries me a little bit on Saturday, and that's the officials and VAR, because I think we're a lot more savvy to. We've seen in the Europa final, Roma, the way they was throwing themselves about. We saw it last night with Fiorentina. Pep's going to be savvy because there's no doubt about it. Inter Milan will be doing that on Saturday. I think we're wise on that. My only little concern there is if Grealish, who's going to get battered from pillar to post, just ignores it, because they'll just like we saw with Atletico Madrid, you know, the way they just were targeting him from the minute he come on. We cannot get embroiled in their game and tactics. We've just got to do our own thing, and we will be okay.
It's interesting, Andy, you're saying that, and someone asked, I think it was Gary Neville, about City being, you know, kicked a bit by Inter Milan, and they were saying that, you know, he thinks City are now one of the, you know, biggest teams in the Premier League, and you know, we look a bit like a team of monsters, and that in the past, you know, in Chelsea did it, we got you know, kicked and the dirty arts, but now you look at the size of our side, they're big lads. We've got 4. They must be all. I mean, Akanji's probably the smallest, and he's a big lad. I mean, not Akanji, Aki at the back, but they're all 6 footers. They're all big lads. Rodri's a big lad. You know, Grealish is, you know, is pretty big. They're a big physical side, and that's why I think I'm a bit less worried about some of that physical stuff, because I think we're a bigger side than, you know, apart from Lukaku, we're a bigger side than them.
Do you know what's interesting as well, Rich? I had this debate with the rags in the pub before the match started for the cup final. They was going on about, you'll be diving left, right, and centre. I went, no. I said, you'll be diving. I said, let's go through our foreigners. How many actually get fouled and stay down? Edison never stays down. You've got KDB never stays down. Haaland gets booted from pillar to post. He just gets up and gets on with it. Rodri
doesn't either.
Bernardo, you know, you go through all our foreigners. They're not your typical foreigners who just want to stay down for any period of time. When we get fouled, we get back up, and I think it's universal from City fans. We know if one of our players is injured, because he does stay down. He doesn't stay down for the sake of staying down. And I think that's a big difference, and a huge pat on the back, not just to Pep, but Premier League football, the way we go about it, because we'd rather get up and go on an attack than roll over. One of the players go off for a couple of minutes, you know, with fake treatment, and then concede a goal while we're down to 10 men. We've got a different mentality than any other team I've ever known.
I agree with that. And that's why I'm just a bit less worried about some of those things, because we've got an experienced team, and they're a big team. And I mean, I didn't even mention the Norwegian meat shield, who, you know, is a beast.
I also like the ref as well, because I think the ref took no nonsense, you know, in the semi-final against, you know, Real Madrid. You know, Madrid were playing some of those tactics, and the official just wasn't falling for it. Unlike the last official we had when, you know, we were at the Bernabeu, you know. So I'm a little bit more confident with the official, you know, with at least with the ref.
However,
that's is it the World Cup? Is it the World Cup one? Isn't it? The World Cup.
However, Ozzy, the referee should have clamped down early doors against Madrid at our place, mate. You know, when we saw.
But I think, Andy, for me, Andy, I think he wanted to kind of let the game flow before he stamped his authority on. That's the way I saw it. You know, I know obviously you may have seen it differently, but I think he just wanted to let the game flow a little bit, kind of not have to stopping it every couple of minutes, you know, because of the way Madrid were playing that night. So I agree and I disagree at the same time. So
fair enough, mate.
Right, I know, Patrick, you have to shoot, mate. Thanks. Go and give True City Fan. He did a wonderful preview a couple of hours back. Go and give that. Help him get to 3,000 subs. Big thanks, Pat.
I think that 3,000 was a bit of a throw and a dream thing. Don't forget, I throw to put that. I don't think that's happening. Anyway, Martin, thank you very much, man. It was the show was great to have all of you, and I'm gonna be watching you guys. I'm heading back home to go clean up my City jerseys. I want to clean up all 10 and try pick one by closing my eyes. Just this one.
Put them all on. Put them all on Saturday night, and then you can just.
You know what? I've always thought about this. I've always thought of going with 5 City jerseys and changing them at the pub, going in the toilet, change them, and just freak people out with the amount of jerseys I'm coming out with. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, man. I hope the best. I'll call you on Saturday, Martin. Obviously.
Yeah, no worries, mate. You take care. By the way, Sean, please don't do that. Please, I'm begging you, mate, don't do that. Please don't do that.
No, he's got to film it.
Come on.
Whoa, what kind of a show is this?
Oh, we're not on that one, are we?
This is not one of your TikTok streams. Behave.
No, say no.
Vader, I mean, obviously, I know you've got to shoot in a minute, but you'll hopefully can get to come back. I mean, just on Andy's point, and then I'm not ignoring the rest. I'm just grabbing to people because I know Andy hasn't got long as well. Does there seem to be an overconfidence? Because, like, I think Andy makes a great point. I've never seen the fan base so relaxed going into a huge game like this before. Normally, everyone's Cityitis is alive, and we're worried about everyone's just so cool and calm about it.
Do you know why, Martin? We've all got, most of us, well, certainly me and a lot of City fans I know, last week was hell. No, last week was hell. Last week was hell. Last Saturday was hell. And I think that used up all the Cityitis stress and everything else. I think, in a way, to make the Champions League relaxed, having United at Wembley the week before kind of gave a complete and utter distraction and also took all that stress out. And now we're all feeling quite zen because we haven't got anything left inside. Sorry, Vader.
Go on, mate. I mean, do you think it's confidence or just belief in the team? Or, like Ozzy said, maybe a touch of arrogance?
Not sure I use the word arrogance, but all right.
All right, then. Bloody hell. When I say it's arrogance, everyone else is confident. So we'll just go with Martin's arrogant. Everyone else is confident. We'll just make that easier.
Well, I'm sure I said you may be arrogant. I didn't say you.
Well, I said just me. I mean, it is weird, isn't it, Vader? We're so relaxed about it.
It's. I don't even think it's weird. It's how do I explain it? It's just because of what we've experienced. It's because of how this year has kind of played out, and it's also, I think, like we just trust each other. I really think that's what it is. We just trust each other that we're going to give our best effort. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. No. I tell you what I think it is, and let me know when you've got to shoot later so I can.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop, but and I'm gonna do my best to return, like I said. But
we'll still be here at midnight, mate.
Okay. Yeah, there's no arrogance. That's not the energy we have. This is like we battle tested. We've seen how players have responded. We've also seen how we've overcome maybe difficult starts or being down a goal. Maybe it's just an acceptance of we trust we're going to play our best. And because we're going to play our best, we're confident that we're going to win. And that's how we're moving into it. At least that's how I am.
Well, I'm going to ask her a question before we go. But honestly, go and give Vertic Games TV. Try and get him to 500 subs.
Thanks
Top
so much, guys.
fella.
I'll catch you guys.
Good gentleman. Can't wait to meet him. Hopefully he'll come back. Cheers, mate. I'm going to go around the thing here. Does it help that this is the third final? Do you think that's why people are more relaxed? Because if this had been the first one, for example, I know it's impossible, but had this been the first one we'd rocked into, and we hadn't won the league, and the FA Cup final was at a later date, do you think people might have been a bit more edgy, or do you think it's just a bounce from the other two?
I just no. I think the fact it's last makes a big difference. But as I said, I honestly think the reason I'm relaxed this week is because last week I was everything but relaxed, and even during the game.
But relaxed. Mine wasn't relaxed.
I'm not sure. No, exactly. I'm not sure how much I enjoyed most of the FA Cup final. To be honest, I just
loved it.
Such a jeopardy on losing that it kind of.
It wasn't, Rich. We scored in 13 seconds, mate. I was totally relaxed 13 seconds in.
You might have been, but that's because you haven't obviously been through the trenches enough, Martin, to remember. You've had too high. I'm saying your life, you've had too high a percentage of glory, whereas some of us are still
taking the ultimate piss.
Absolutely, I am. But
Excuse
I'm just
me,
saying
I was one of the people sat in front of the bloody main stand chanting, "We want sat the board and we want Franny out."
Then you need to remember it better.
You want what?
Franny.
He's getting like that channel somebody's just said.
Yeah. He's that just shows how young he is, Andy, because we were there doing it for Peter Swales.
I was there for that as well. Don't get me, shut up, you.
I love it. But anyway, but that's my point. I think last week was so tense. I think this week, who cares about losing to, relatively, the FA Cup was a far bigger part of my life than European football. And I've hated United since I can remember, since almost feel like you're born like that. Whereas Inter Milan, so I just think there was so much, it would have been so much worse losing to them, I feel, than it would be losing the Champions League, that therefore I'm just relaxed. And I do think United are a better team who were more likely to pose us problems than Inter. I think, you look at the two teams, and United are a stronger team who've, come in the same position in a much stronger league than Inter did. So, that's for me why I'm a bit more chilled about this.
I did see this today. There is a rhetoric going down that City haven't sold out Istanbul. Yeah, do you see what I mean? People just chat a load of crap.
Yeah.
You don't want to see blood. What is going on in this chat tonight?
Do you want to know what I think?
If it's anything like the chat, no.
No. Let's get back on track. Do you want to know what I think? Why I think pretty much everyone's calm? It's because we can name Pep's strongest 11, and we're comfortable with that. Whereas other finals, we don't know who he's going to play. I.e., 2 seasons ago, he did play Rodri. Whereas now, all the big games this season, Madrid, Bayern, Arsenal, he's picked the 11 where we know are going to be there or thereabouts. And I think that's give that in a zen to everyone.
I can pick 9 of them.
I can pick 11.
I keep changing 2 around.
You keep changing Foden for Grealish and also Aki for Akanji.
Aki and Akanji are the 2. And my other one's Mahrez.
Akanji's done nothing wrong, mate.
And I don't think you can put a cold Aki in.
To be honest, I think if Aki plays, it's for Walker, not Akanji. I think Akanji will be one of the first names on Pep's team sheet.
Because of his back. It depends on his back.
Aki won't start ahead of Akanji. A few weeks ago, though, I think we'd have all gone, Aki's got to come in. Aki's got to come in. But you know something? Akanji's done nothing wrong, be it on the left, be it on the right. He gets caught out a couple of times. So does every player. You know, Diaz can be accused of, you know, going to ground too early sometimes and getting roasted that way. I'm more than happy with. Listen, we can name the starting 11, can't we? What's going to start on Saturday?
If he starts Sterling, there's something wrong. We've gone back in time.
He won't start Sterling. He'll be on the bench.
He started, bloody hell. Have we got him back on loan for a game? Have I gone back 2 years?
Saying nothing, mate.
Thank you so much, Alan. Sorry, not on the channel this morning. I have to take a friend to the airport. Come on, sir. No
Alan,
worries,
you've
mate.
not got friends.
Don't believe it, Alan. Friends, football friends.
No, I mean, and that I've been having a look. We're talking about earlier on Pat's show, and we were looking at Inter Milan. Now, Inter Milan generally play a 3-5-2 formation, and they have done for the majority of the season. Is Argy's boys, which is generally Dumfries, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Begins with D.
DeMarco, isn't it?
DeMarco, and they basically have a middle three of what's he called? I had it all in my head. It's gone.
Try writing it down at your age.
I know I should.
But you have to. They're back three. You're talking
No,
about.
they play three in the middle, and what he has been doing, apart from the last few games, it has generally been Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez up top. Lukaku has obviously been injured. Skriniar has been injured. He's come back from I think he's had a back operation or something. Now,
Do you think he'll
the
play?
word is that
He's been on
He
the
might
bench for
not
the
play.
last 2 games. So
Yeah, I think he won't play.
Skriniar's been on the bench for the last 2 games. So I think he's a bit like
well,
Aki,
you said about Lukaku, but I don't think Lukaku will play. But the whole point is of this 3-5-2 is Inter Milan are not a quick side. They're not a pacey outfit, if you know what I mean, like a Real Madrid. I mean, they're not. Ozzy. I mean, I've watched them a few times. I don't think they're pacey at all.
I think they're more pacey than you're giving credit for. I'm not saying
They've
that
got Dumfries, and that's about it. They've got a 30-odd-year-old Mkhitaryan in the middle. They've got, they've got bloody. They're quite an oldish side if you look at some of them in their areas. They've got 2 or 3 decent players, one very, very good player who I read Taylor, which is the midfielder, and his name's gone out of my head.
Barella.
Who we've just recently linked again this morning with.
Because the middle three tends to be Barella and Mkhitaryan, but he's been injured. He's a doubt for the game.
Brozovic is probably.
But they're very different to Real Madrid, and they're very different to Bayern Munich. They have their own. They have dangers, but a different danger, if you know what I mean. They're not about ball possession, because I think listening to some of their interviews, don't think they're expecting a lot of possession with the football in this game.
They'll counter.
They kind of know. Pardon?
Counter attack us and kick us.
That's what I'm saying. Have they got the pace to counter attack us?
No. Well,
they have. They are a counter-attacking team. They are very good at kind of holding the ball up. I think they are very much. Will be playing the counter attack against City. They're expecting City to have most of the ball, but I think that's where they feel comfortable with.
Yeah, and I don't, I'd say tactically, don't think of them as a non-possession side. I mean, they average 57%. I think they were 3rd or 4th.
No, I'm talking about against us, Rich. They've already basically conceded they're going to lose possession.
They have, because they know they will, but they aren't a side who, there are sides out there who will get to 3rd in the league by 40% possession because that is their way of playing all the time. With Inter, it isn't. They are a side who keeps the ball in the league. I think they're just accepting that against City, they're not going to be able to keep possession like they would, against Fiorentina or, Torino or someone in the Italian league. So I don't think that means that they're going to be playing entirely their natural way, though, by not having possession. because they are a team who
does have possession
normally has it.
against us? No one has a great deal of possession against us, but I don't mean to say
pretty much Brighton. Brighton are about the only team who, who outpossessed us all season.
We need an early goal. I do believe we need an early goal. I don't want to be going in midway through the second half at 0-0.
Yeah, it'd be even funnier if it's like maybe less than 10 seconds. We shouldn't have to go through 12 seconds of hell in games before we score, should we?
I mean, if you look at their whole run from it, they got beat by Bayern at home 2-0 in the group. They beat Victoria Pilsen 2-0. They beat Barcelona 1-0 at the San Siro. They drew 3 each with Barcelona in the Camp Nou. They beat Victoria Pilsen 4-0. Then they got beat again by Bayern Munich 2-0 over in the Allianz Arena. They beat Porto 1-0. Then they drew away at Porto. And then they got a 2-0 away win at Benfica and then a 3 each. And obviously then they had the Milan derby that they got through. That's what I mean. They're not, to me, I know what you're saying in terms of that, Ozzy, but I don't think they're not a pacey team like a Madrid.
Martin,
Bayern Munich.
Martin, it means nothing. You can be a lucky team to win any cup competition. So I don't go for, they've drawn here, they've got beat there, etc., etc. We've been terrific in the Champions League this season. It'll count for nothing in the final unless the application's right. It'll mean nothing.
I think the other thing as well is, sorry, Andy, go on.
It's okay, mate, go on.
I was just going to say, the other thing that I think we are slightly forgetting as well is that Inter's manager, Inzaghi, he has won the last 4 of the Copa del Rey and the Super Copa del Rey. He has been a cup competition winner.
Mm-hmm.
His average is 87%, of winning cup competitions. So he knows how to win the cup. He may have not won the league this season, but he knows how to win one-off games.
Spot on, mate.
And that's the thing we can't be too cocky about, is because that's what it comes down to. This is a one-off game. Over 2 legs, I think we would beat them easily. But I think this is a one-off game. Anything can happen. We know this. And I think you've just got to be... I think this is a team where they will play on the transition. They will try and break through the lines for that quick counter-attack. And I think that's what they will predominantly do. I think Inzaghi will have a game plan.
In the middle work, though. This is where our 4 in the middle comes in. It stops the counter-attack. That's the whole idea of it.
Yeah, and that's why I think, personally, one of the most important players on that pitch on Saturday is going to be John Stones, because John Stones has been immense. In the FA Cup final, I couldn't believe some of the stuff he was doing. And I just don't think he was given the praise enough, to be honest, because his clearances were brilliant. His runs, his general play was just brilliant. I think he was the unsung hero for me in that game. And I feel that if he's on his top game on Saturday, I think we could win this. And that's where I am kind of feeling that John Stones has now come into that position and he's made it his own.
Mm-hmm.
And I look forward to just seeing what he can do Saturday. But I just feel that is the most important player on that pitch on Saturday.
I tell you what, is the big lad up front's going through a goal drought, isn't he? He's due one.
He's due a few. He's due a hat trick.
It's just a poor man's Darwin Núñez. Come on, we saw that from the start of the season.
But one of the comments there, Martin, about they've lost 12 this season means nothing, mate. Like we've just been saying, it means
it doesn't. It does mean something because they can be got at. It does. From an analytical point of view, it does because they can be got at.
So can we, though, Martin. We've been got at. We've lost games this season. There are reasons for it, especially for some of them.
I know that, but like I said, when was the last time we conceded more than a goal?
Well, it doesn't matter. One goal could win it. How do you know Inzaghi's not going? Something? We're going to set up exactly like Brentford did.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is,
Now the question.
I get what you're saying. I know. Listen, I'm not saying don't give Inter Milan respect, but I don't. To me, we are favourites. Quite clearly. The simple fact is, we've slapped Madrid, and when I mean slapped them, slapped Munich, slapped Leipzig, slapped Arsenal, slapped United, slapped Liverpool.
Means nothing.
Yeah.
We can all be all jolly. We're favourites until we kick off on Saturday. We don't know how it's going to go. We can be optimistic.
All right, then let me put it this way then. Out of Inter Milan starting 11, who would you swap in the City one? There isn't one.
What about Brentford? Brentford players?
Because we were half on a beach. We were done. We weren't.
We wasn't before the World Cup. The principles are the same.
Right, first of all, you understand the principles are the same.
What we have got in our favour, right? I think Rich or Ozzy said something earlier, and I totally agree with him. We're not one of these who are going to get kicked and just go, oh, don't fancy it. We'll get kicked and we'll get up and we'll kick them back, and we won't be bullied or intimidated. That's one thing what we have got in our favour, whereas the two finals we've just seen, West Ham was a little bit, and so was Sevilla. Even though Sevilla won, we won't be anything like that. We listen, on paper, we're too much for them. We're too much for any team. What do they always say? Hard work first, talent after that. And we've got both that. We've got the hard work and we've got the talent. There's nothing what should stop us. But I think it's dangerous when we're going, they've lost, 5 or 12 games this season, so there'll be a rollover. They won't, mate.
No, but that's how Pep looks at it. Pep and his analysis team are going to be looking at results. They'll be looking at how they're playing. Pep isn't going to be sat there going, it's a one-off game, lads, so we'll chuck all the stats out the window. That isn't the way they do it.
I think what Pep and the rest of the coaching staff will be looking at is the cup finals that Inter have played more than their league kind of form, because it's one-off games, as Andy's just said. That's what you need to be looking at.
I get that.
Forget about their league, how many games they've lost in the league. I'd be looking at the one-off games in cup finals that they've won, because that's going to give you a bigger indicator of how they're going to play and how they're going to try and win. Because they are going to try and win this. They're not going to just roll over.
Yeah. And you've got to remember that when Chelsea and when Liverpool won the Champions League in the last 20 years, both of them had lost, I think, 8 and 9 league games. When Chelsea and Liverpool couldn't even get the top 4 and they won the Champions League. So, it's not all. And that Liverpool win in Istanbul was probably about the same odds as Inter Milan. AC Milan were huge favourites. And
with an Athletic
played better most of the game.
Cup final.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it happens, mate.
I know it does, but you got to look at the Wigan one. That was very weird circumstances.
No.
Of course it was. There was a mutiny going on in the dressing room, Andy, before they went in.
I don't care how many turtles there was there, mate. It doesn't matter. It can happen.
The manager knew he was sat before going into the cup final.
Listen, I am 1,000,000% confident on Saturday. However, we've got to have that air of caution and keep grounded.
I agree. I'm not saying Inter Milan will not be a difficult team. I'm not saying they're not a good team. But what I'm saying is that we've gone in with this air of caution in every game so far. Madrid, 4, 5 in the end on aggregate. Bayern Munich, 4 on aggregate. I get what you're saying. I know it's a cup final. I know it's a one-off. Everyone went in on Saturday. City were by far the better team over United Saturday.
They were, but I mean, they got a decision. They got a penalty. And we could all and ah, and we could all say it shouldn't have been a penalty. At the end of the day, it was a penalty they scored. They come close to scoring towards the end of that game. What if they had have scored? Yeah, I know, but this is what I'm saying, Martin. It's a one-off game. Anything can happen.
Everyone's going down the negative road.
Martin.
No.
Not negative. I'm really confident.
Feet on the ground.
Yeah, it is. It's feet on the ground. I'm very confident because as long as with you, Martin, I believe in this team. I believe this team can win. You know, because they are a bunch of winners. We've got the best manager in the world. You know, that everyone seems to be copying now towards the end of the season. Even Klopp. You know, supposedly he's the best manager in the world. Behave. If he's copying us, copying Pep, then you're not the best manager in the world for me. But this team is the best team on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
But all I'm saying is when it comes to a cup final, you've got to that goes out the window a little bit. You've got to be prepared to face this team, which are a good team. They may be not as good as us on the day, but that's it. On the day, we've got to win this game. And you've got to be cautious of those certain things that Milan are going to do.
And I agree with that. I agree with you and Andy on that. I do get that. And I'm saying, yes, you be professional. Go in with it. It's going to be an hard game. The point is, if City turn up, there's only one winner for me. If City turn up, only one winner.
Totally agree with you, mate. Totally agree with you. If City turn up and they play their game,
and I think it's going to be a very different game to a Madrid and a Bayern, because I do think Inter Milan will give up possession, and I think they're going to, because I personally think they're going to look at it in stages. I think they'll look at it at the first 20 minutes. Can we keep it all level? If they're going in 0-0 in the first 20 minutes, they'll be over the moon. Then, if they can get to half time, still at 0-0, or with a 1-0 lead, then they're over the moon. Then they'll go into the second half. The difference is, I think if City score first,
game over.
Absolutely avalanche and by half time, and we might just all be going, thanks, see ya, we're done at half time. Inzaghi and Pep will look at it in two very different ways. But I think this is why I don't think the 11 is as easy as many are thinking. Because do you need a Bernardo for this type of game against Inter? Because it's not the same as a Madrid and a Bayern.
So are you saying that Pep's going to overthink this, Martin? Are you say he's going to do something crazy?
I'm saying possibly you may get one tweak.
Well, we know Sterling's not playing. That's been confirmed.
I just don't know if it's I'm
glad you've cleared that up, Andy.
I may be totally wrong. It might be the full 11. But would it surprise me if he threw a Foden on the right or a Mahrez in on the right and left Bernardo out? No.
I think against the back three centre backs, I think he might do that because, you know, it's going to be a different balance of play. We're going to have to be able to attack them a bit more directly, get behind a bit more.
That's what I mean. They're going to need a bit of directness at some point.
Yeah. And probably in that sense, we aren't going to have the three attackers. You know, we might have a different way of covering the flanks. So I think, to me, there's two possible changes. I think you can't rule out Ake being brought back if he's 100% fit and ready, because, you know, he has been immense at left back as a defender, you know, and been fantastic in our play. So you can't rule out that he thinks I'm going to play Ake. Now, personally, I think he won't, but I don't think he'd drop a Kanji if he played Ake. I think it would be Walker, because he's thinking we don't need the defense. We want to build better. But then his thing is Walker is insurance. Walker is our defence's insurance. So that's one call he's got to make. And I'd be hearing that he'll stick with Walker because of his big game experience. But I think that's one possible change. I think the only other possible change is Foden. You know, it could be Mahrez, but I would have thought Foden playing, you know, in the position with Bernardo, and then he's got a call to make. Does he drop Bernardo, or does he, you know, play Bernardo in one of those two midfield roles and drop someone else? But it's hard to see. You know, I think we are going to need some subs, because there's a couple. You know, I don't think De Bruyne looks like he's going to play. I was listening to a pod yesterday saying that De Bruyne looks like at the moment, at the end of the season, he's a 60, 70-minute player now. And I think that
he's injured at the minute.
Yeah,
he's carrying a knock somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's one of them you'll find out in about 4 weeks' time that he's been carrying a knock.
Yeah, just
so,
like
you know when Andy's gone
start,
into the
but
mist
he'll-
of blue.
Yeah, he'll start, but they may know that he's probably going to play 65 minutes or something. So I think they're the two decisions. But I think probably you could you'd probably write down 9 players without even thinking about it, and then
That's what I mean.
It's like couple of minor changes.
I don't think Pep will do a madness. I don't think Pep's going to do his mad scientist and not play CDM or not play Stones up top. When I mean it, I'm talking like a Bernardo out for a Foden or a Mahrez or even an Alvarez or something like that. That's all I mean. Because, to me, I think the game's going to be very similar. My personal opinion, very similar to the FA Cup. And Bernardo, the trouble is with Bernardo's in there to do the running, the donkey work, and stop the guys coming forward. If they're not coming forward as much, you don't have a lot to do then. Bernardo's sort of like, where am I going here?
Then, can't he? He can score if he's not running back.
Like at Wembley, Bernardo was, I'll be straight with you, Bernardo was garbage at Wembley. He looked totally out the game. He didn't know
what
where
he did against Real Madrid, though,
Martin. First game against Real Madrid.
Because they stopped them attacking, that's what I'm saying.
First game against Real Madrid, he was absolutely shocking. And I said, although he's shocking...
Second game, he was the best on the pitch. That's the mad thing, isn't it?
Straight after the first game against Real Madrid, I said, although he was shocking, I wouldn't want anybody playing in the second leg against Real Madrid. And Bernardo himself, he actually said he had a shocker himself. So, listen, Pep will be going out on Saturday with the tried and trusted 11 because they do ball retention. He'll want ball retention to try and get a couple of goals. He doesn't need to start the game chasing it. Now, if you bring Foden on, Foden doesn't do as much tracking back as Grealish. Mahrez doesn't do hardly any tracking back, whereas Bernardo does. So straight away, if you start a Mahrez and a Foden, in my opinion, you're starting off on a back foot straight away.
See, that's what I mean. Obviously, we don't know. There was that leak the other day that Mahrez could be starting.
No chance.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
No chance.
I agree with Andy. I think, the one change I see, or possibly, is Ake at left back. But I just think he's been out injured. He's going to come in cold to this game, a huge game. As much as I respect Ake, we'd be saying the same thing about Walker. Do you know what I mean? We've always said you can't bring a cold Walker into a big game. So for me, I think it'll be pretty much the same as the FA Cup final. I think it'll be exactly the same 11.
Yeah.
And I think but you'll see more of a bench being used to its full. I think you will see Foden come on at some stage. The one worry I have still is Rodri, because Rodri absolutely looked finished at the end of that FA Cup game. He looked absolutely on his arse, and he pretty much was, because he just completely collapsed. So he's my biggest worry, is that if we lose him, or he's really starting to kind of get to the end of his legs towards the second half, we've got no one to come in really to replace him. We don't trust Phillips.
Calvin Phillips comes in, suddenly finds his form, wins the Champions League.
John Stones.
I think there's a few of them, Ozzy. If I had one criticism of City at the end of the season, I think there's a few of them who, whether they over-celebrated or they detrained or whatever, at the end of the season, I think Grealish as well. I think Grealish has looked like he could play 180 minutes the whole of the season. At Wembley on Saturday, he looked like someone who'd been on the lash a few too many times. And and in a way, I think it's a bit like, in horse racing where, before a big race, a horse might need a run 2 weeks before, to really get fit for the big race. And I think a few of them needed that game against United to get the cobwebs out, give them a bit of that match intensity. So I don't think we'll see that in Istanbul. I think it's probably part of the way we've decided to organise the last 3 weeks. you know, and I just hope that Jack didn't, you know, go out Saturday night like he said he was going to, because, you know, that could be a shock. You know, someone like Grealish gets dropped because they've been on the piss too much this week. Yeah, it's not impossible.
Should play me because I've had nothing this week.
You've been a good boy, Andy.
Yeah.
No, listen, I get it. It might all be mind games, and we don't know. But the simple fact is, but I just, listen, it's up to Pep. Would it surprise you with the 11? No. That was the only tweet because people are about tracking back. And that's my point. I don't see Inter coming bombing forward like a Real Madrid or Bayern. Because I think in parts they're going to be too scared of us doing that. The Dumfries is the one who'll go. The man on the other side isn't as much. Mkhitaryan's sort of busted through forward. This is what I mean. They're going to be worried about us at the beginning.
Listen, mate, if he starts Lukaku, they can throw that ball over the top, and he could put us under
the Lukaku. I think it'll be Xhaka and Martinez.
I know, but we don't know until then, do we? We don't know who's going to start. Listen, I think I'm not going to say what I was going to say because I'm not jinxing it. But Lukaku could cause us problems, mate. He has done throughout his career.
He's played a lot better since towards the end of the season. You know, he got 10 goals, 6 assists. And him and Mahrez, they've got a good relationship. They play very well together. So that is something that Inzaghi is going to be thinking. You know, I agree with you. I think Dzeko could be starting, and I feel, is more the threat. But, you know, I just feel that if you look at just how these two players have played, Mateus and Lukaku, you know, Mahrez is kind of like Haaland a little bit because he's got more technicalness to him about him, but he can hold up the play and he can, you know, pass off to other players like Lukaku to score a goal. So I think that's where you've got to be wary.
I think we've got the Peroni fan club in the chat at the moment. Peroni's not getting on that pitch on Saturday, ladies and gents. Sorry to break that to you, but he's not. Yes, he's travelled. Gomez has travelled. Gomez ain't getting on the pitch either on Saturday. He's took them all over for the experience as well, to join in if they win and get the celebrations. He's took the whole squad. Everyone's gone. So doesn't mean they're playing or they're going to be, because you can have I know it's exaggerating this, but you can have like 15 people on a bench in a Champions League. Crazy. Have you ever seen Champions League now? It's just like 11 subs get named. Doesn't mean they're all coming in though. Peroni's not even started a Premier League game yet, and we're rolling him into a Champions League final.
Can I just say one thing before I go, guys?
Go on.
A lot of people know that I'm not a huge fan of the Champions League, UEFA, etc., etc. I don't want the players are pretty much saying don't boo it. They want the fans in the right frame of mind from the off on Saturday. I hate UEFA with a passion. I hope algorithms pick that up, by the way. I hate UEFA with a passion, but we've got to go with what the players want here. And if it means the fans over there doing the Poznan but not booing, so be it. I think booing now it's had its day.
Yeah, I think I have to kind of agree with Andy on that one.
I told you his fan club were in the chat.
No, but I agree with Andy on that sentiment. I you know, as much as I don't like UEFA, you know, I think that, you know, well, I think if I said what I feel about them, I think we'd be kicked off on YouTube. But, you know, I do agree with Andy. I think the fans have to get behind the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the team, this is something they've requested, then we keep saying we're behind the team. Well, let's show them. You know, whether like Andy, like I said, doing the pause now.
As in don't boo. Oh, you mean don't boo the anthem?
Yeah, don't boo the anthem.
They're gonna boo it. They booed it against Madrid.
Yeah, I know, but this is the final. This is the players have asked for something.
Won't make a difference.
Well, you know, I personally think I'm with Andy. I think, you know, it's time to bury that. We can boo them as much as we like. They're here to stay. We're playing in this competition. it's just time to move on, guys. As we can do it other ways of saying we don't like UEFA. Do you know what I mean? I think there are better ways of doing it. Sometimes it's better to show UEFA that actually we don't care what they think. We don't care what they're going to do to us, because ultimately we do what we do on the pitch, and that's where it matters.
Yeah, and where I think City fans are slightly wrong is it was never about UEFA. It was always the G14. The G4, UEFA did some things against us, but they did it under pressure of the G14. They did it because the G14 were threatening Super Leagues and all sorts of things if they didn't do it. So, in a way, UEFA could have stood up to the G14, but had they done that, the G14 probably had the power and the money and the fans to give the finger to UEFA and take a Super League 10, 15 years ago. So it's UEFA's always been like the Premier League are in many ways with the charges. They're between a rock and a hard place because, UEFA, like the Premier League, would much rather there were no charges, everything gone away, there's nothing to see here. That's what they want. They want to focus on making money. But those clubs, the Uniteds, the Liverpools, want to have their agenda in football to keep the money for them. So UEFA is almost a patsy doing it. And, the booing, apart from, obviously that Moscow away game situation, and being fined more for being out late on the pitch than, fans for another team were, another team was fined for racist chants against Yaya. Those are things to be UEFA for. But the real whole UEFA agenda, that was never about UEFA. It was always about United, Arsenal, Liverpool, and the teams who were driving, who wanted the cartel. UEFA doesn't want that. UEFA just wants to get rich and have fun.
That was simple fact.
Yeah.
It's like saying the Premier League rich, but we know it's the 9 clubs, but we still boo the Premier League anthem.
Yeah,
This
is
what I'm saying. I know what you're all saying, but against Chelsea, and you were there, Andy, we all booed the Premier League anthem. Mm-hmm. They're going to boo the UEFA anthem, whether we like that or not. They're going to do it.
But I know the players, mate. The players have requested it. So, like Ozzy said, just let's do what the play. Ultimately, so it doesn't matter if you want to boo it while you're watching it on the TV. That's fair enough. But
the players kind of didn't want us to do it against Madrid either, and you couldn't hear anything for booing against Madrid in the semi-final. We absolutely drowned it out with booing.
But that actually built the atmosphere in a way.
That's what I mean. I think it does add that little bit of. I know what you're saying, Andy. The players have said, "Don't do it."
So did the Poznan on Saturday. We scored after 12 seconds.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But I think what will happen is I think they'll start off the booing, and then it'll go to like it normally does. It'll go into the City chant because that tends to happen. It goes boo, 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 boo. Because the worst thing that's going to happen is,
be like you.
What I understand at finals, don't they have a live singer singing the actual anthem? They have a live singer, don't they?
Yeah.
That is going to get booed out of the building by us. The City fans are not going to sit there for 3 minutes listening to that. They'll sing, they'll Poznan, they'll boo. Everything will go on during that. They did it when we went over against Chelsea. They were doing it. The 10,000 over there, they still booed. Or there wasn't a lot there, and they were booing over there for that one.
I'll be booing on the telly. I'll be booing at the telly. Don't worry. But I mean, just there.
I know what you're saying. It's a weird one. It needs to be put to bed, but I don't know. It's just some.
Well, Martin, you've said it. It needs to be put to bed. Really, I think it does now. The players have said even Pepper said it. It's now time to get behind the team. Forget about UEFA. This is just a game that we need to support the team in.
All right, was we not behind the team against Madrid at home then?
Of course he was.
No, I know, but I know what you're saying, but you're doing that. You just said it's time to get behind the team. They've been behind the team for the last 4 or 5 games in the Champions League.
Okay, it's time to start listening to the players and the manager then.
Can I ask you a question though? How much do you think the players and the manager really mean it? And how much do you think they have to say that because they're being told by UEFA and sponsors
I think UEFA
25 times a day to stop the fans screwing it?
UEFA wouldn't. No way would UEFA tell them, can you ask your fans not to boo us?
Of course they will.
Do you not think the Premier League didn't mention it at the Chelsea game when we all booed the Premier League anthem when it come on?
Listen.
And Richard Masters was in the stadium when we booed that anthem.
Listen, what the players have asked for the fans not to do it, to get behind them straight away. It's not me who's asking, it's the players.
No, I know that, but like BB, it's not just about that. It's about the Yaya Toure racial abuse. We got fined for it.
And what
coming out 30 seconds late, we got fined for that.
But let's be clear.
It's CSKA Moscow, whatever it was, when it was meant to be behind closed doors, and it just happened to have 5,000.
Andy, honestly,
sat in there.
When is telling a Manc to do something ever resulted in
the fans ain't gonna listen at all?
Okay, Martin, let me ask you something. And be honest here, have you ever had any speeding tickets?
No.
No.
Oh no. I've had a speeding. I went on a speeding course. I've never got I've had one ticket. Yeah.
Have you ever been stopped by the police?
No.
Well, you've had a speeding ticket, so you're going to boo the police for the rest of your life?
No.
Same principle.
It's not, because if the police were racist.
Some are. Fact.
You got to admit, this is not one thing. UEFA have done 4 or 5 things and tried to kick us out their own competition.
Yeah, it's a bit of a moot point anyway, because I think a big chunk of City fans are going to boo whatever we say.
That's what I mean. I know loads over there.
Whether we think it's the right or wrong reason, I think they will, and I think it will actually add to the atmosphere. And it would be quite weird if they suddenly didn't after all the last few seasons. And I think in a way it's that kind of booing that's galvanized City. It's like the Premier League charges, they galvanized City. It is in a way creates that mentality at the beginning of a game. This is the world against City, which I do think it has some positive impact on the players too. I don't know. I just kind of feel that part of the reason the players are saying it is because they probably have to. There will be, UEFA will comment every time we boo. And there was a lot of talk when we first booed about whether we were going to get fined for it, and I think UEFA backed away from that because they realised that probably there wouldn't be any justification for it, and secondly, if they did, it would just make us boo twice as much. But I don't know. I think it will happen. I'm not. If that's what people want to do, then, and I think it'll add to the atmosphere, not take away.
Yeah, it's like I know a lot of fans like yourself, Andy, who don't like the competition, and it's rightfully your decision. You don't, like you said earlier, you don't go to games, and that's quite frankly your choice. I'm not overly keen on UEFA, but I do go to the games. There's people who boo, some don't. Some boo the Premier League anthem, some didn't. We were laughing, weren't we, Andy? Richard Masters is charged, his league is charged 115. We booed the Premier League anthem out the stadium, and then he had to hand over a load of medals to a team that he's charged under and had charges with. He must have felt all right, dick. At that point, going, here, lads, have this. By the way, we're trying to charge you.
He is called Richard, so he...
That's what I mean. It's a weird situation of UEFA. It isn't. I think when UEFA, it's not just one thing. No. It's a build up of 6, 7, 8, so many different things. And I think City fans just went at it.
Either way, we're going to smash them.
Yeah, I know a lot of City fans who are like, if we win on Saturday, I'll never give a toss about the competition ever again. They just want to win it once. I know other fans who want to win it every single year. That's the thing. We're all fans and we all have different.
Well, do you know what? As soon as if we do win, then
when we win
a treble will no longer be the benchmark of football. We'll have to do a quadruple, or it'll be a treble for us.
We're not having a parade for that. Has it got to be a quadruple invincible to get a parade?
I think that's what the media are going to say. It's not a real treble, or you've got City can't be called a great side until we've won the quadruple, or maybe we'll have to do a three-peat in Europe or something. I mean, I'm sure that's what's going to happen. We've already seen all the nonsense about how if we win the treble, it's nothing compared to the Regs treble, even though I think in their treble they got the second lowest winning total in Premier League history. They lost, they got 2 or 3 replays in the FA Cup. They, lost games or drew games by the bucket load in Europe on the way, but it's still a miles better treble. And then if you point something like that out, they'll just tell you, "Oh, we got lower points because the Premier League was miles stronger then," and you'll just get nonsense.
They did, by the way. They did, though. I know they didn't calibrate the gun.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, the police didn't change the speed limit on me on the morning of the actual ticket.
Yeah.
So that's
to be fair, if Martin was caught speeding, it's because he had too many extra sugars in his caramel.
Do you know where I got caught?
Caramel latte macchiato in the morning.
And you will know exactly where I've been caught speeding.
I'm glad.
M6 there.
Trafford Centre.
Yes, M6 there. Towards Stockport.
Yeah. On the 50.
I got done 56 and a 50.
I always do 50 around there.
Speed awareness course.
Anyway, gents, I'm gonna have to skedaddle because I've got a free ticket this weekend as well. I'm dropping my wife and daughter off at the airport to go to Greece for 3 nights tomorrow.
So your missus is going doing a Shirley Valentine?
Hopefully.
We're all at yours for the cup final then.
Bring it on. Listen, gents, great show as always. Brilliant. I'll
go and give 9320. They're nearly at 1,000. They are literally on the cusp of it. Going out and get over the edge.
We're rubbish. Don't bother.
And me and Andy are going to be doing a lot of stuff with the channels during the summer. We're going to do some more collabs. So
we're going to be like Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah. As long as it's not the full Monty with Martin.
I've got hair and Andy. You're just sort of milk coloured and gold. Excuse me. You know where I'm going in 6 weeks? I'm going to Turkey. So I'll come back with a set of red and white.
Yeah.
Listen, if I don't speak to you, gents, and everyone in the chat, enjoy Saturday. We will be fine.
You're not coming on the post match?
I'll be in a pub somewhere, mate.
Are you going to the parade?
No, because they're not having one if we have the treble now.
Yeah.
See you later, folks.
Yeah, Andy's going for a quiet half dozen pints, aren't you, to have a little mither in the pub if we win. My
missus has booked Tuesday off for the parade.
Adios.
See you later.
Bye. Rather fans boo than do a pitch invasion. That's the thing. We still pitch invade when we win the league. And we were told by the players and Pep not to do that, and they all did it.
That's why they bloody did
it. I mean, fans.
If no one had mentioned it, if no one had mentioned it, if no one had mentioned it, we probably wouldn't have done it. Because so many people said don't do it, they're like, right, I'm going to do it now.
That's a great point. If Pep and the players had said nothing, they might not have booed, but because they go, can you please not boo? Boo! Yeah. We're gonna bloody boo now. It's like when you're a kid, you say the opposite. You want to do the complete opposite.
Yeah, but I think there's a bit of that in. There's a bit of that in the Mancunian, against you know, the establishment against, you know, against London.
And they're not
do-
like that in
do
Yorkshire.
things a bit.
Yorkshire.
But
You're
no,
laughing.
yeah,
You're laughing. No, Ozzy, are you seeing this as exact same 11 as Madrid Bayern? No, you can't see any changes whatsoever.
No, I think that's probably the best way to go. You know, Pepper's kept it consistent. I think to go now, kind of, that's it for Rich.
Hi, Rich.
I think he's
I'm
just
just doing some medical work on my daughter. She's got a sore throat, so I'm just checking.
Dr. Rich.
I hope no one clips that. Anyway, carry on. Someone's going to clip that edit and make it look really bad for Rich.
It's been that kind of show tonight, hasn't it?
Put it in your private chat, Rich, because if that gets clipped and edited, you're screwed.
Really saw that.
What? Just doing?
No,
checking,
Rich, just carry on. Carry on. Don't make it worse. No, like I said, the only thing I think Walker plays as long as the back's recovered. I think Walker plays.
I think Walker's a definite starter, Martin. I think
Akanji plays.
Yeah.
Because if you look, Akanji has played nearly every single big game. It's generally, I know Aki has as well, but it's generally been Walker's out for Akanji. But I think Akanji, very hard on Aki that as well. Feel for Aki.
But it's not like he hasn't had a big part in the lead up to the final. Yes, it's a shame that he's not playing, but I just don't think you can put him in a. You know, he hasn't played in the last few games. He's becoming completely cold. You know, I just don't think that's fair on Akanji, really, just to be dropped all of a sudden when he's done a magnificent job. And this happens to players. You know, players get injured and miss out on finals. You know, we've seen it with other players in the past. So, no, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there is no changes. It's going to be the same 11. But I think what we alluded to earlier with Andy is saying, I think there will be more changes. There will be more, you know, players coming on, like the likes of Foden, even Mahrez at some stage.
Right, okay. I get you now. I didn't quite get that then, Rich. Then, I just don't think I think Grealish plays, Haaland plays. I think the midfield will speak for itself. Gundogan, KDB, and Rodra. There, you know, my mind went totally blank there. My only, I mean, I do think it will be Bernardo, but that is my only thing. I think if there is anything, just for that directness, and a lot of it is. Remember the Newcastle game at home when we had Grealish, Haaland, Foden, and you sort of had the control with Grealish, goal scoring with Haaland, and the chaos with Foden on that right. So he sort of had the best of all worlds. And then, funnily enough, we've never used that three ever again. I think we all said afterwards as well that was like the perfect front three because it was a bit of everything, and we've just never done it ever again. And I just think. It depends how Pep sees Inter. This is the problem. It depends how he sees Inter Milan. Because does he treat them the same as a Madrid and Bayern? Or does he treat them as the counter-attacking team that I may think they are, or someone else may think they are? Because like I said, I don't think they're going to be on the front four. Don't think they expect to be on the front.
No, but I think Pep needs just to concentrate on our game, rather than concentrate on what Inter might do. And I'm not saying that you completely just take your eye off the ball completely, but what I'm saying is that the most important thing is for the Pep to just make sure the players go and do what they do. Do you know what I mean? Go and play their game, because the moment we start playing Inter's game, that's where I start to worry. You know, we're the favourites for a reason. I think Inter have got to fear us. I don't think we need to fear Inter. We've just got to be cautious, and we've got not to be just too arrogant and think they can't hurt us on the break. So for me, Pep will be thinking, and hopefully just, I need to play my way. This is the way I'm going to do it. And then we go from there, really.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Rich? Could you see any changes? Are you thinking just the 11 that we're expecting?
I said before, I think we talked about this earlier in the stream. I think there is a decision to be made on whether we go for a Foden or a Mahrez to give us more attacking against a back three, staying back three in the wing backs, to give us a bit more of an attacking threat. Than the Bernardo playing the kind of more defensive role, because I think against the back three with wing backs, it puts a bit more, makes that role a bit more challenging. In are you stopping the wing back, or are you attacking the third defender? So I think that's a decision to make, and I don't think it's impossible he brings back Ake, and that that's possible if he thinks Ake is going to be a better one-on-one defender or do a better job as a natural left-footed left back, because he has generally quite light left-sided defenders on the left of the back three. So I think those two are possible changes. I don't know. In previous seasons, I think he'd have made them, but this season he seems to be trying to underthink. So, maybe the danger is this year he should make a change like that and he'll actually not do it, and he'll go to the exact same 11 like he did in the FA Cup, where I thought maybe he will go Foden in the FA Cup, and he didn't change a thing. And possibly in the FA Cup final, we would have been better with Foden, the way United played. But, we'll see. But he seems to be conservative this year, so I'd err towards no changes, just by, the way we seem to be.
I'm just going to come back to 1 minute. Sorry to interrupt you, Rich, only because I haven't had a chance. Dano, it doesn't come up on StreamYard for us. I don't know why it doesn't come up in the comments. It only comes up in YouTube. Dano was gifted 10 memberships out, and people are snapping them up. That is excellent, Dano. And I've got to say, Dano was the one who gave Bernardo Silva frame as well. I've just looked at your profile picture. I think I've met you before. I think I know who you are. Did we chat at Wembley at Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup final a couple of years back? If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but I'm sure we met at Wembley Stadium. Just remind me, Dano, but I appreciate that. Donna and Lee, two fantastic people who have sent the Bernardo Silva frame. I've even tried to pay them for the postage, and they won't let me do it. It is outstanding, and this is why this channel is what it is. Not because of me, Ozzy, Rich, Alan, Pat, anyone like that. And it's simpler because of what you people in the comments do it. You make this. This is why it is your channel. It is honestly amazing. And we can't thank you enough for the support. It really is. So on behalf of me, Ozzy, Rich, thank you. And Pat, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Rich.
Thank
I had
you.
to
No, that's fine.
just jump in there, mate. No, I don't know what. Maybe I got sucked in with that Mahrez leak in the week. Because, do you know what? Is it me, or is the Champions League the only competition that leaks out team news?
They don't
See,
leak
it's
Pep,
very weird.
Pep,
You get leaks in this competition.
Yeah, I don't think Pep knew his when that leak happened. Pep didn't know his team, so I think it's just absolute.
Oh, but the Real Madrid team got leaked out for the Etihad.
Yeah, but 99% of people would have named that Real Madrid side. There was only one possible question, and that was, is Militao going to come back? So all someone has to do is have a vibe they think Militao's coming back, and they can leak the team.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the truth. Pep doesn't know whether whether he's playing, Mahrez or not a week before.
You believe that?
He hasn't finally. Yeah, I believe Pep will have a couple of teams in his mind. He might have a couple of players who he's worried if they got a slight niggle or something. So he'll have a few different scenarios, but he's not going to have, absolutely settled on that until nearer the time. I mean, there could be injuries at Inter Milan during the week. That one of their wing backs could pull up injured, or so there's too much uncertainty. So leaking a team a week early, I think it was a Mahrez fanboy making up a story, not any sort of real leak.
By the way, any Algerian fans out there or Mahrez fans, that is the views of Rich, not me and Ozzy or anyone on the channel. That's the views of Rich.
I've not even expressed the opinion. I think Mahrez is a great player.
You told me he was crap. You can't wait for him to go to Saudi Arabia.
No, I think that was absolute nonsense. I think
last game though, Rich. You know what I mean?
We are coming to that. We are going to touch on that in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
It could be. I mean, it's gonna. Let's be honest. What we're going to see now is Newcastle selling players to Saudi Arabia for about 5 times the market value. That are
Rich, no, look, don't start. I told you there was a workaround, and this is the workaround.
It's a perfect workaround. It's like
they're not stupid. Yeah. The Premier League and UEFA are not down.
Yeah, but if it's not a related party, there's absolutely nothing you can do. I mean, otherwise,
and the PGA have just happened to have this go through as well. Bloody hell, Rich. Not that stupid.
No, it's got nothing to do with stupid, Stupid's paying 150 million for Coutinho. That was 3 times what he was worth, but
I don't know, Rich. They got McAllister for 35.
Well, that was apparently a clause, wasn't it? I tell you what, there'll be about 50 clubs kicking themselves about that.
I don't get.
Is it 35?
Bellingham's gone for cheap.
I've heard he went more like for 55, not 35.
No, it's 35. Rising up to 55 if they hit certain targets.
Right.
Yeah. The initial layout's 35 million quid.
It's it's bizarre. I mean, it's
hang on a minute. Aren't we buyout clause FC? Like, how come we weren't?
This is what I mean. I don't think. Well, apparently the rumor was it had to be a non-Champions League club for that to kick in. My other thing is
be the opposite.
I thought 35 million quid. I thought there'd be. My only thing is that 35 million quid. Why was there no other teams in for that? That wasn't just a quiet deal, because apparently it's come out today. That was put in just before the World Cup. He went away with that already in his contract. He told them, "I want to go in the summer. This is how much. I'll sign your deals if you do that." And that's where it came from. It's like. Bellingham, he's gone for an initial 85 million quid when Dortmund and everyone else and City were told 130 million quid. Because what I don't understand is something changed there, because Liverpool went at 85 million quid and then pulled out of it. So something changed somewhere, which it'll all come out in the wash in about 2 months about Bellingham. Something has took a detour somewhere on the Bellingham deal. I don't know what happened. Something changed, because for Liverpool to rock out when the morning they put the bid of 85 million quid in, to then pull out because they were told 130 million quid, for him to then go to Real Madrid for 185 million initially, plus add-ons, is very weird. Something took a left turn somewhere.
It is mine, but I think with the Bellingham thing, I think it was he has just decided, I want Real Madrid and no other team. And I think
suck, you are so trust, not even little brokenness. What? I don't have a clue Will Adams is on about, but never mind. Thanks for joining in. But anyway, I'm gonna get into it. Ozzy. 11 o'clock. Saturday night. Are we treble winners?
Like how you come to me first on this. Yes.
See the hesitation on that?
No, I just wanted to build up a little bit.
He's been shit scared of Inter Milan for 90 minutes, and now it's slap them. You know,
No,
right?
Martin. No, Martin. I said we need to be worried for certain things, certain players, respecting their managers.
Joking.
And I'm just saying, Martin. I'm saying I've said all of what I've said about Inter Milan, but when I really think of it, and when it really comes down to it, this team that we've got has just been brilliant. And again, we have got the best manager in the world. And for me, that's what counts. Right now, I believe this team can do it. I think we are in the best form we've ever been in. The fan base has just been brilliant. It just feels that this is the moment. This is the time. You know, you just feel these moments and times come along at times, and you embrace them and just go, yeah, there's something special. You know, people say there's something in the air. Do you know what I mean? There is just something really quite magical right now. I knew it going into song.
Sorry, we're just having carry. By the way, Shane, that's a great way to get a question answered. Answer my question.
Is this a city? Is this a city channel, Ozzy, or did I just hear you say love is in the air? There's something magical. There's something magical in the air.
Do you think
I'm going to do a Disney sing along?
Do you think you break down Inter as easy as Man U? Yes.
We didn't break down United that easily, unfortunately.
We did. United were crap.
They were.
I knew it was you. Cheers, mate.
I don't think City were great that night either, to be honest.
Sorry, go on, what?
I don't think City were great at that FA Cup final.
They were better than United.
They were better than United, but
City winning second gear.
And that's the thing. I think for this game, though, they've got to be out of second gear. They are going to have to play and get up to fifth gear, sixth if needed. I do.
Breaking news: City team Late Gomez starting up front for Ireland.
Yeah, but it's Gomez Adams. That's why it's
no, I'm meeting Gomez. I'm driving him to Burnley.
Oh yes, I did hear that, Martin.
Getting in my car, I'm driving him to Burnley. I'm going to drop Calvin at Leeds. Gomez over. No, joking. Anyway, Rich, same to you. 11 o'clock. Are we champions?
Yeah.
There you go.
Simple.
Shimples.
No, I think.
By the way, do I think it's a failure of the season if we don't win? No, still want to do it.
Yes, you do, Mike. That's not what you've said. Privately, you said.
Do not lie, you lying little son over there. You lying little son.
You said I can understand if they don't do the parade on Monday if we don't win the treble. That's what you said.
What are you talking about? It's true that way. Well, I don't quite understand that. Sorry, Carrick. If you want to redo that, that'd be brilliant.
Go on, then, you haven't answered the question. 11 o'clock.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, mate. I think by 9 o'clock it'll be over.
Oh, the arrogance.
Anyway, right. Let's get into something. Obviously, Kovacic. Personal terms agreed. That came out an hour ago. Apparently, the fee is going to be quite a reasonable, easy job done. So, looks like Kovacic is going to be the first signing officially for Manchester City. Looks like Sergio Gomez will be going to Burnley for around 20 million quid, which I think is one hell of a markup. And people used to say we couldn't sell players very well. I mean, saying that, Burnley could literally be signing a Champions League winner in about a week. So that's actually not a bad little deal, actually, when they work about it. Because I did hear West Ham fans saying champions of Europe last night, which was quite funny. What are we then? We win. Yo, big congrats to West Ham as well. And I hope most of the West Ham fans got home safe last night. I know there was some awful scenes afterwards, sadly. And that brings me to the next one. I hope all Manchester City fans follow Blues. If you have still not travelled out there, please get there safe. If you are currently there, please be safe. I know Steve and Daps are already out there. I have DM'd them, say be safe, enjoy it. They're already on the beer. Hugh's going out there. There's a few. Please be safe. Luke's going out there from MCFC lads. Be safe. Enjoy. Elliot, who comes on the channel in the comments, is out there. Sent me a lovely message. Please all be safe. Enjoy it. Don't remember. Yes, it's fun, but you are representing the football club as well. Don't. Let's not do what some fans do when they're abroad and become idiots. Come back safe. Hopefully, most of you get back from Monday if we do win it and we can join in the celebrations. But yeah, be safe, enjoy, sing your heart out for the Blues. But transfer news, Rich, Ozzy, because I didn't speak to you two about Bernardo Silva. Came out from TalkSport yesterday that apparently he's more determined than ever to leave the football club, sadly. Funny how that comes out in Champions League week. Funnily enough, though, I do actually think that's not BS. I do think that is actually true. I think he is just.
It's been like that 4 years now. So, yeah.
And the problem is, there is a suitable buyer now in PSG. It's funny how he's gone from Barcelona suddenly. I'll go to PSG. It's like, hang on a minute. Paris ain't that sunny, mate. Where are you going?
I think it's
like,
just
say
more
you hate
family.
England.
Yeah, I think it's just family want out of the UK. That's it, really. So.
Yeah,
I think Martin, it's Bernardo Silva's been one of our best players. You know, for the price we paid for him, from what we've got out of him, you know, there is no ill will. If he leaves, you know, it's thank you so much for what you've done for this club. You know, what more could you ask? My worry is if we lose 3 players in the summer. 3 big players. And we've joked about Mahrez, but that's still 3 big players who are still, you know.
That's not a joke. It is on the table at the minute, Ozzy.
Yeah.
Apparently, Al Halil, are they called? If I've butchered that name, I'm sorry, in Saudi Arabia, because obviously Kante's gone there. Apparently, he's been paid £250,000 a day.
It's I wonder.
Have I read that right?
Well, that's what they're saying, but I am skeptical because you know you don't need to overpay that much. You probably
transfer him back. Can you not see a wage structure being put into place if they do what they're about to do?
Well, they didn't do it for the Chinese Super League, so
yeah, but I think they know that that was going to go belly up quickly. Saudi Arabia have money.
China has money.
China has money.
China's got a lot more money than Saudi Arabia. So, you know, I think, you know, I suspect
not the Saudi royal family rich.
I suspect there's some exaggeration in
Saudi
some of those
royal family
wages.
I think the wages will be obscene.
Not arrogant, confidence, big difference, Jack.
Yeah, I think the wages will be obscene, but I'm not sure about that figure per day. You know, I don't think so.
But you don't need to overpay that much. You don't need to overpay that much. That's the thing. If you want to
make it, going out.
Yeah, but you know, some of the wages are I'm sure exaggerated. I don't believe Benzema's getting 200 million a year. I just really don't believe that. There's just no need to. He could go there for 50 million a year, and he'd be, you know, with no tax, he'd be trebling or quadrupling his wages, and there's no need to pay 200 million because you'd get the deal done for 50 or 100. It's just not logical.
Yeah,
but
I think
you know,
when it comes to the likes of Mahrez, I mean, I think if this club comes in and they offer us silly money for Mahrez, I don't see City kind of saying no at the same time because, you know, he's 32. He's a brilliant player, but you've got to think about the future and think about we're going to need someone within the next year realistically to come in and replace him. If they offer I don't know, silly. What money could we say? 70 million, 80 million, 70, 80 million if they were to
I
come
think
into around
about
that mark.
40.
That would be
40 would be stupid money.
yeah. If we
Oh,
were
that's what I'm
selling him,
saying. That's what I'm
if
saying.
we were
It's
selling him with it to a Premier, to AC Milan or something this summer, we'd probably do well to get 20. Honestly, for a player on those wages.
Again,
at that
Rich
age,
Williams is
I
your
don't think
target
you'd
there,
get
ladies
much.
and gents. I didn't go that low.
No, it's just economic. It's just economic reality. He's a very highly paid player who's going to be 33, and no club is going to pay a massive transfer fee for that unless they're desperate and they're called Manchester United. I mean, it's not
no, but
good economics.
this league though, Rich, it's not exactly a brilliant league. It'll be going over there to play, Sunday league. No offense to that league, but it's not the Premier League. It's not La Liga. It's not even the Italian league. It's just going to be what I mean. I've never watched the league, so I can't really comment. But it's nowhere near the standard that the Premier League is. So he'll be going over there, being paid silly money and wages. So if this club in Saudi Arabia want to play silly money, do we really turn that down? Does City really turn around and go, nah, we don't want that money for a 33-year-old?
Can I just say, Colin Pollock, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you. You're now in the live draw, mate. No, I'm with you, Oz. I think it's a no-brainer if you can get that kind of cash.
The worry for me, though, Martin, is that we potentially lose 3 players, though, this summer. 3 big players that have got the experience. Yeah, but that's not the point. My point is that, you can replace those players, but that you're losing big characters, big players that are going to be missed. Kovacic is a brilliant player, but he's got to get used to the system. So you're talking about, if we lose all 3, you've got 3 new players who don't know our system, have got to get used to Pep ball. Mm-hmm. And we've seen other players not get used to it, like the likes of Mahrez, Grealish and others. So it really could hurt us down the line for next season.
I think that's football, though, isn't it? Obviously, we lost Aguero, we lost Silva, we lost Fernandinho, we lost Company.
Not all at the same time, though, Mark. If we'd have lost Aguero, Company and Silva in one window, are you telling me that wouldn't have had a big effect on us?
For me, I mean, I think Gundogan will stay. I think Bernardo will leave, and I think Mahrez could possibly leave with this. Mahrez, is he getting into the team at the minute? Not really. You still got McAtee. People want to get McAtee. Pep doesn't want a massive squad. He never has wanted a massive squad. He wants a nice, compact, small squad. So if he's probably thinking 3 or 4 out, 3 or 4 in, just to refresh it, he may think that. Because I honestly think Gavardio will come in, Kovacic will come in. I think there'll be another midfielder and probably if Mahrez goes, there'll be another right-hand sider coming in.
I think another right side, it has to come in, Martin, if I'm honest.
Yeah, Even
if Mahrez stays, I still think another player needs to come in.
I don't know. She's still got Alvarez, still got Foden, you've still got, but you've still got players that can. That's the problem. A lot of our players are versatile, aren't they? They can sort of pick into different positions. Foden's played right, he's played left, he's played centre.
But you've lost a big player like Bernardo Silva who can play in the midfield and on that right wing. Do you know what I mean? So yes, you can replace with a Foden, but then if you've got a Mahrez gone as well, that's still 2 big holes that are missing potentially in the squad.
Well, you've got a Peroni to bring in though, on the 20 Argentinian.
You've been laughing at that poor kid.
No. I'm laughing at him playing in a Champions League final. What is the point in buying these players if we're just never going to bring them in?
Yeah, but Peroni is a CDM. He's not, Pep's
so
genius, but I don't think he can play
No, he's a CDM. He can play CM as well because he does that for Argentina. He does a lot of ghosting in at the back and scoring goals at the back post, bit like Gundogan. He does that more for Argentina at the moment when I've watched him play. He can do the CDM role, but he can also do the further. Yeah. He's like a 6/8.
Oh yeah. I get what you mean.
Kovacic
I
is
agree
kind
with
of
you.
the same. It's like, well, do you want McAtee back? This is the problem. Yes, Bernardo Silva we can do nothing about. That's just the way it is. He's never going to me, he's not going to sign a new contract. This hope that we've all got of just throw money at the guy. It's not about money. It's about happiness. And I said they're not fans. They are employees. I know that sounds really harsh, but they are. They're employees. Bernardo Silva did not go. I'm a Manchester City fan. He's a Benfica fan. He wants to go home at some point. And his missus is pregnant. To me, I've always thought the minute his missus got pregnant, or they announced the pregnancy, congratulations to him, that was the nail. She was moaning about Manchester before she was pregnant. Never mind when you are pregnant, you're going to be, see you, I want out of there right now. And I think that's why he's gone. Barcelona, Paris, I think it was just out of Manchester, out of England. Because England's not for everyone. I get that. Now, Erling Haaland's all right. He's from Norway. Bloody cold and very similar to Manchester anyway for Erling Haaland. But it's a City fan. So he's got that affiliation with the football club. Gomez, people saying, give him a second season. He's not good enough. Sorry, he's not good enough. You can't just hold the guy there. He's not good. He's not even where Zinchenko was in his first season. Where'd you put him? And let's be straight, Gomez, if we'd have signed Cucurella, Gomez would not be here anyway. He'd have been at Girona. And that's out of Pep's mouth.
Yeah.
The plan was to go to Girona until they went, we can't buy another left back. Keep him.
Yeah.
Not fair on the lad. We're poor. But the trouble is, you're bringing in Gavardio. I think it's just natural football in it. And you know what else? We may end up having a transitional season. But if we win the treble this year, I don't give a monkeys, mate. I don't care if I don't see a trophy for the next 10 years. This season does me. This will do me for my lifetime. This is. I said this earlier, and this is where my speech is going to come. You all wanted it. You've all waited for it. Simple fact is,
Have we?
No, yeah.
Hey, waiting for what? A speech by Martin.
Yeah, it's Churchill's speech now, Rich. We need to sit back.
24 years
No,
ago,
a miserable, I want a miserable Unlucky Alf speech.
Rich, but 24 years ago, we were 90 minutes away from going out of business. Sorry, no, I'll change that. We were 5 minutes away from going out of business. 5 minutes away from going out of business.
And it's all gone downhill since then.
We then had to sell Sean Wright-Phillips, who cried leaving the club. Again, to save the club while the court bank went, can we call in all your loans and overdrafts? We were on the verge of having buckets outside the stadium. And if you'd have told me 20 years later, we're on the cusp of something that is something I only ever did in FIFA. And I didn't even do it in FIFA because I wasn't good enough.
We know we did the FIFA stream. We saw.
Listen, we weren't that bad, cheeky son. But listen, how mad is this? This is something only FIFA players do. This is reality. Every single one of us could stand up in 48 hours' time, literally, and go, champions of England, cup winners of England, champions of Europe. And by the way, we're not just champions of Europe. We beat Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, all to do this.
Don't jinx it,
Don't jinx it,
Don't
Mike.
jinx it.
Don't do
Don't
things
jinx
like
it.
that.
No, No, I know,
Yeah.
but I'm turning.
I'm gonna have
8-point deficit.
to yeah.
I'm turning 8-point deficit.
I'm gonna have to change my prediction to a loss now, just to offset
Rich. I'm just
any
saying.
any
This is
risk of
where we're at.
overconfidence.
Rich,
I
this is
reckon
where we're at.
1-0, 93rd minute, Jacko.
Rich, and so be it if that happens. I'm not saying it will. Rich, I'm not saying it 100% will. I'm just saying. No, this is remarkable. We all got told, we see things you'll never see. We are now seeing things you'll never see.
We're going to live forever, aren't we?
By 11 o'clock on Saturday night, we might be all booking tickets to an Oasis reunion gig. I'm just more excited about that, actually. But anyway, no, in all seriousness, this is, I'm living FIFA at the minute, in reality. How mad is this? Oh, and by the way, we beat Arsenal, Chelsea and United to win the FA Cup. There's not a competition this year we've done easy. There's not actually a competition we've won easy. How mad's this with a small squad?
It's been unbelievable in a lot of respects. I think there's been a lot of chat over the last week and a bit, obviously about this team, versus the Man U treble team. And you could say, as Rich has kind of pointed out earlier, that we've had it harder, that this team have performed way better than that United team did back in the day. But ultimately, these two different teams, two different eras, I think they both have their legendary status if it happens, So I think you look at it that way, really, that this is our moment. This is City's moment, to do this, to be in that aura of City actually doing a treble is just going to be, it's our moment. The last 10 years have been our moment. This has been leading up to this moment. Enjoy it, because as Martin said, this may never happen again.
Yeah, it's just it's mad. Anyway, gentlemen, leave it there unless you've got anything you want to add.
No, I have to run.
Have to run.
I have to run.
Now what I'm saying is Rich is going to run off screen. By the way, I'm going to admit, big thank you. We have smashed over 1,800 subscribers tonight. We are 199 away from 2,000. That is just breathtaking to us.
Thank you.
We've done nearly 1,500 subscribers in less than a year. Just wow. We'll be back now on Saturday night, 7 p.m. It will all kick off. Manchester City versus Inter Milan. Live on the channel. I'm just going to... Have I got it here? No, I'll put it up anyway. It is already up on YouTube and linked. 7 p.m. We will start off with... we'll go through all the team news. Half time. We'll cry together, laugh together. If we get beat, we'll cry together. If we win, we'll celebrate together. And then we will be live around about 11-ish or whenever people can get available for the post-match. Like I said, I may put all this on screen and I may be down at the Etihad and just come out to you live from the Etihad going, ah! Hello. Or at Piccadilly Gardens.
Starbucks in his hand.
No, and then obviously, so there's going to be 2 lives, 3 lives left.
He's sponsored by Costa, Ozzy.
Saturday there'll be the watch along. Saturday then the post match. There may be a short live on Monday with me, Ozzy, and Pat, live from Manchester because Ozzy's getting the basin. You don't know that yet. Right. Rich won't be there.
I have to run.
Take care, Rich.
Bye.
Sorry, we just do one of my long outros. And then on Thursday, I've got to say, we will be live to do the end of season show where the KDB will be on offer and the Bernardo Silva frame. So you're going to have 2 amazing prizes to be given out. I've got a list of all the people, all the numbers, and they'll be done live on air. And we will go through our pre-season predictions, compare them to now, and give out our awards.
And there's still time, Martin, to enter, yeah?
Yes, they've got till right up until Tuesday. Anyone enters as a member on the Wednesday, on the Wednesday. Anyone who joins on Thursday, because what I'm going to do is, I'm telling you now, on Thursday, to make it fair for everyone, I can put subscriber mode onto the comments. Because I've said the way to win it is subscriber and then be a member. So what I will do is, on the Thursday next week, it will only subscribers can comment to make it fair. So there you go. You just become a member, Jay Fresh. All you do, mate, you become a member, hit the join button, 99p, and then we will have a chat and let you lot decide whether we carry it on or not. But like I said, 50% of it is going to go to the Alzheimer's Research UK for people with Alzheimer's and hopefully get rid of that or find a cure for that awful, awful disease. And the other 50% will go back into the channel as well to support your channel to make it bigger and better. So anyway, yes, thank you, Ozzy. Appreciate you there, mate.
Yeah, good being back, mate.
Ozzy's been very, very busy.
Just a little bit.
Someone said Alan's in the chat. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Not seen him.
That's what I was just looking at. Someone just put that as a comment. Anyway, yes, if you can, smash that like on the way out. There you go, sub 2. There are still a couple of subs left as well. Are you announcing our name or YouTuber name? It will be whatever name is down on. Some of them are the YouTuber name. Some of them are your real names. I can't decide that. Ozzy can't decide that. It's what YouTube put you in as. So if you have got trolls, you'll be found.
If you obviously have got an issue with that, just kind of let Martin know as soon as possible.
Yes, email the channel there. Mancunian894@gmail.com. If you have got an issue, email me. And if you do win, I say there's been a winner and I will announce it anonymously. Or tell me what your YouTube name is. And I'll announce the YouTube name.
Yeah.
That's the best way around it. Tell me what your YouTube name is. If you don't want your real name on there, because I've got your real name. Me, Ozzy, and Rich can see your real name. Sorry, that's the conditions, T's, terms and conditions to becoming a member because of your bank details. Because I can't put myself in as Mancunian Way on my bank. It don't work like that. Because the channel is not actually in Mancunian name, Mancunian Way. It's had to go under name, a real name. Can't just put Mancunian Way in. Wish I could, but can't do. My real name is Goated. I'm not a Mark Goldfish. I'm not giving you out false names. Hard to do. Anyway, we'll see you Saturday, 7 p.m. Please relax. I know some of you will be nervous. Enjoy it. Honestly, enjoy it. Because
enjoy the moment.
These are the things that you should enjoy. Don't be nervous. Just enjoy it. Embrace it. And we'll see you all Saturday for what I hope will be a very, very special night. And hopefully Ozzy may join us for a bit of halftime analysis as well.
Stranger things happened.
Bye-bye. Smash that like on the way out. You're all legends.